Hi. So I was thinking about vulnerability, and I was thinking of why I struggle with it. Um, of course, it must date back to childhood, but let me tell the story about what reinforced it in adulthood. What I think about being vulnerable with people and why I don't do it or why I struggle with doing it. I think it's because I tend to have this belief about how people react to things. I feel like people have this way of once they know something and they consider it a weakness about you, they stop seeing your strengths and all they see is your weakness. I find it strange, but I think people do it a lot. Um, I'll tell you a story. So, when I first came into this country, I think I came in with about 200 pounds and I had accommodation, okay? I had some food. I had a food voucher, I think for 50 pounds or something like that. So I had food, I had accommodation, I had a travel card. But my personal money that I came in with was about 200 pounds. Ideally, I was going to get paid at the end of the month and I was supposed to have some money. And I came in around, let's say, 7th or 10th. So, and that 20 days I'll get paid. So, 200 was supposed to cover my feeding basically. And I expected that it would be fine. It turned out that I didn't get paid that month. For some reason, I think there was this issue about the bank. I filled the form, the bank didn't agree with some information. Something went wrong anyway, and I couldn't get paid that month. So the next month, this is me, my 200 pounds is running out. I'm on the last 100, and I'm out of travel card because I think I got a 1 month travel card. So I decided to buy a bus pass. Back then, bus pass was like £80. So I bought a bus pass for 1 month. And 1 month bus pass, I decided to, go frugal on my food and stuff like that. So basically, I was fine. And hopefully this month I'll get paid. And then somewhere along the line, the bus guys went on strike. So when the bus guys went on strike, they were to go on strike for a couple of days. So I decided to speak with my practice manager or my practice, what do they call them again? My clinical practice supervisor. I think that's the title. So I spoke with him and I said, let's say there's a Monday. So I said, on Wednesday and Thursday, there'll be bus strike. And because I only have a bus pass, I won't be coming to work. I would have to wait till Friday. I would be at work on Monday, Tuesday, but I wouldn't be around on Wednesday and Thursday, and I'll be back on Friday. At this point, this was my first 2 months in UK, so I just mentioned it to him. I think I mentioned it to him because I had this OSCE training that was supposed to last that was supposed to take place on those days. So I was just informing him that I won't be coming for the class. I wasn't asking for help, I wasn't asking for support, I wasn't asking for anything. I was just passing information. He reacted to it. He didn't tell me. But when I left, he sent an email to others and was like, what happened? Why did she come into this country to work for us and then she can't afford that transport and then this? Why wasn't she paid? Why this? Why that? Why that? And so it had my managers and everybody running around to sort me out. My phone was bad around that time. I came into the country with my Techno phone. My Techno phone was pushed back home, okay? So I came into the country with my Techno phone and at this point, the Technophone developed an issue. I think I couldn't charge it. So I went somewhere to see if I could fix the charging point, but they said they didn't have the parts. So I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a phone. I only had a bus pass. The buses were going on strike. I was out of cash for food, but I still had some food. It was just that I was out of cash, you know? And so when they informed my manager, my clinical supervisor, and whoever and everybody, they wanted to know if I could use an iPhone if I wanted an iPhone. I said, no, I didn't want the iPhone. I'll be fine. In a couple of days, once they pay, I'll buy my phone. So I didn't want their phone. I think they got me tickets. I could get food from the canteen while at work and all that. And they basically run around to sort the issue. It wasn't solved that day. That was on a Monday, right? So by Tuesday, I think my bus pass was loaded with a train pass. So I had the train pass, which just means I have travel card. I had access to kitchen. They wanted me to, anytime I needed food, I could go there to have breakfast, grab my lunch there, and then grab dinner before going home. It wasn't going to happen. I didn't like the food. I was new to England, okay? So I didn't even know how to eat a lot of the stuff. The combination was just not something I was used to. So the problem was sorted, right? I got the travel pass. I was able to come to work. I think by Wednesday I was paid, actually. I was paid the previous month by Wednesday, and this was towards the ending of that month. So in another 2 weeks, I was also paid for that month. So the problem was sorted. However, as it does happen, the reason why I said being vulnerable is a tricky card. I can't really explain it, but people have a habit of identifying you with your lowest point in life. I was a great nurse. I just come to the UK. I was lovely. I was working for the last 1 month with them, shadowing someone. Everything was fine. I showed up at work. I was good. I was great. I was okay. Nothing was missing. Then they knew I had money crisis, and now that was all my supervisor saw. She would see me and she would go, "Oh, Adisa, how you doing? So how's the money crisis?" I would just laugh. Believe it or not, I think I worked there for maybe 2 years or so. And she never stopped asking me that same question. And I would always laugh about it. I would always smile. I would always be like, "I'm fine," kind of. But it's just reinforce my idea or my view about being vulnerable with people. Because for me, if I had known that my clinical practice supervisor was going to email them and give them this information and get them to work on it, I wouldn't have informed him. I would just miss those 2 days of work, and I would show up on Friday. And I would have just told them that I didn't know I could find another way to get to work. And that would be it. I would have preferred that than for someone to ask me 2 years down the line. It's a joke, but it's not a joke. "Oh, how's the money problem?" For goodness sake, I'm not having a money problem all my life. Stop it. But that's what you remember. That's the talking point. I don't know how to explain this, but people do it a lot. It makes it difficult for me to have difficult conversation with people because they just forget all the wonderful things, all the beautiful things about you, and they just remember only the low point. And I think that's a strange habit that people have. And when I say people have, I can tell you I don't do it because I've watched people talk to me over the years, and I think one of the reasons they feel really comfortable with talking to me is this. You can be very sure that when I talk to you tomorrow, I won't talk to you as the person who I know your low points. No, you're the person that I knew before I had that information, and I just see you as that same person. We are a whole being. We are not just our vulnerabilities. And so I think it's horrible for people to focus on the vulnerability, and it makes it difficult for people to have had conversation or vulnerable conversation because people are aware that that's all you would remember tomorrow, and that's horrible. That's my opinion. You have a lovely day.